Kenny, can you call our competitors to the center?
All right, so the match will start in 10 seconds. This is live.
All right, and we are underway. Oh, look at that.
Oh shit. It's okay.
Now, Brett is just coming off of a previous competition. He went all the way to the Rocky Mountains in Alberta.
He did both gi and nogi in Alberta, so he definitely has more competition experience than Josh.
That's right. Josh has never actually competed.
Yeah,
yet.
well, he's done the in-house stuff, so this is kind of more familiar for him that way, but no outside tournament experience, unfortunately. Okay, I'm just going to try and fix this now.
All right, just a slight issue with the clock. In all the excitement, we pushed the wrong button.
Actually, I set up the timer improperly, so that could be it. Just ignore it.
Oh my God, you timed it exactly right.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
It's actually really good.
Okay. We'll be okay.
The clock on the wall is exactly right.
This is why we do these dry runs. Yeah, I think this will be really good. It was interesting actually listening to both these guys talk about the Brett because he has competition experience outside. He said the anxiety level was very similar actually. Yeah.
I mean, you can just tell by the way he was warming up with his headphones in.
It's not his first rodeo.
Yeah, he was getting in the zone.
Yeah, absolutely.
And look at that, right off the top, he's got Josh in a...
Looks like an Armin guillotine.
That's right.
I don't know if he has his hands connected or not. It's hard to tell from this position. But he does have a closed guard. So the closed guard Armin guillotine is really, really effective because you have control of both sides of the hip. A lot of people think, you're actually arching your back to finish the guillotine. It's actually your legs on the opposite hip that do the work for you. So you're not actually strangling the guy with your arms because that's weak sauce. You're holding on with your arms and strangling him with the movement of your hips.
Yeah.
Looks like a nice hip bump sweep there into a mount.
Right into mount.
We're going to look to see if Josh will be able to throw a kipping escape maybe. We've been working that a lot. So again, the kipping escape really, really good in gi and no gi. Obviously better in no gi because you can slip out a little. Oh, so there he is. Looks like he's back to the bottom half. So it looks like he's set up almost a tight weight position, but he doesn't have that lower leg shift.
Oh, that's something we've been working right there, that hot half guard position.
Absolutely. So it's good to see these guys are both going after it with a lot of movement because a lot of the times when there's no points, they don't do this stuff. So I think it's better jiu-jitsu because they're flowing through like back position and stuff. But again, you have to keep in mind with this being a ref decision option, like this kind of stuff counts, right? Having somebody on your back controlling them, you know, it still counts even though it's not worth points. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's good mount by Brett.
Wow.
Looks like he's looking. Oh. Another good bridge. So again, Josh just needs to be careful not to expose his back or anything. So you can see his right elbow there is kind of blocking Brett's left hip coming up.
There you go. I mean, it's cool just to see them roll with such confidence.
It's really good. Really good.
Because in training, like, you know, we're all going pretty easy, but...
Yeah.
Oh.
Looks like, but
is that an inside heel hook?
It looks like almost like a backside 50-50, but he wasn't quite able to secure it. And again, anytime the ref can stop the action to reset the position, but so we'll pause the timer there for a second. We'll start it again. And that's largely what the ref's job, which is kind of nice because, again, if you have the resources, like we have 3 referees right now, or 3 judges and 1 referee, you know, Oz, with your experience, it's kind of hard for that ref to do the scoring and the judging and everything else all together, right?
It is a lot. Like just that first tournament we did, it was overwhelming to see like one person do everything. Like
I've commented they do it because it's lean, but if you want like good quality training, like this is obviously the better option for it because, you know, You have like the ref's job is easier because all he has to do is watch for safety. He doesn't have to make any decisions. He's just hyper focused on keeping them all safe. And then the judges don't have to worry about, keeping them safe because they know the ref is there. So it's like it's two jobs that you're basically splitting, right?
Hey, question. So, like, Josh is on his back here, but he does seem kind of aggressive. Like, if you're in a, if Brett is in Josh's guard, but he's being aggressive, like, how do you judge that?
It depends like who's working and who's being threatening. So just because somebody's attacking and the other guy's fending off his attack, he's not creating opportunities to be offensive. So, I mean, again, this is why I'm not judging, so they can do the hard work. But watching the match, it's good for your jiu-jitsu to watch this participate and play different roles, whether it's reffing, whether it's judging, a lot of this stuff, just to see how everything works. Because I know for a fact when I started refereeing matches back in the day, it helps you become a better competitor because you're in a different seat and you can understand what that guy is looking for. And the goal is, if you want points, like, make it super easy for that guy to give you the points. Like, if you mount him or you take their back, like, lock him up, hold him, and stare at the ref until, like, he gives you the points. You know what I mean?
So if there's room for uncertainty, then it doesn't really matter.
But I didn't realize that until I did some reffing, because it's like, well, you don't know what it's like. You don't know what their job is like. You can speculate and you can think, but you're not sure, right? Oh, there's Max. My son is in the frame.
Yeah, that was going to happen.
Well, it is his birthday, so I guess he can do whatever he wants.
Oh.
So this is past the 10-minute mark, so neither of these guys have competed for longer than that.
I was curious to see how much like stand-up time they were gonna have actually, but they're getting down onto the floor a good amount. I remember watching the Nogi matchups, and like most of it was just stand-up within a 5-minute time limit.
Yeah, I mean, depending on what you're watching, like rule sets make it, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, in like stuff like Abu Dhabi, people standing, as I'm sure you can attest with your experience, despite the fact that we train all on the ground, when people do their first tournaments, they stand around. And standing, you waste so much energy.
It's so tiring.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, he's still okay.
He's still okay?
Yeah, it looks okay. But you can see it's
So at this
good.
point, Brett is going to need to like pull his leg out of
So
that
he's
knee
up.
line.
But it's good to see, you can hear them chatting with each other about safety. Like I heard a couple of times, they're like, "Hey, are you like?" It's good. This is exactly what I was hoping for, and it's good because Kenny's getting in there as well. So he's getting in there nice and tight to make sure he knows what's going on. And Kenny's very experienced, and he's got a lot of competition experience himself, which is good. It's also nice that, ideally you want the referees and all the judges to have more experience than the participants, because that way they can they can make sure that everybody's safe, right? Like you don't want white belts judging or reffing like a black belt match.
Oh, absolutely.
You're not going to know what's going on. Right?
No, it's a good level to compete, but still, like, I guess this is what you really hope for a friendly match.
Yeah, and again, the idea of this is, you guys did the tournament. It's nice, but I think this is, at least I designed this to be like what I would want to do.
Yeah.
Basically, like if somebody can come here, beat me up, share some good jiu-jitsu with me, like it's fun, right?
There's something to be said just making this an event, setting a time, and like having that clock. It just puts the pressure on that kind of like really mimics that experience.
Oh, you could time all your bathroom breaks and everything you need.
We
right?
have a whole audience here too.
Yeah,
like the
family and
the
friends.
pressure's on. Josh was talking about how nervous he was last night.
Yeah, it's like the difference between, it's like a quantity over quality thing, right? So if you compete in these big events, it's a lot of strangers, people that you may or may not know. You might have a couple teammates and friends there, but largely it's unknowns, right? But this is small, it's intimate, but it's all people you know, your family's here watching. So it is a little bit different as that as well. So it looks like they're coming up onto the 5-minute mark. These guys have been wrestling for almost, like grappling for 10 minutes, which is pretty good. The pace is pretty decent.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting in your post-fight to see how tired.
That was the first
How
question
tired
I
they
was
are.
going to ask.
How tired are you?
Have they been? They've both been training about the same amount of time. I know Josh started around when Owen did about 5-6 years ago.
I think Brett has like the incipient data that he started might be prior to Josh, so like timeline-wise it might be longer.
Right.
But I think he had an injury where he took time off. So it's hard to say. But experience level-wise, I think they're pretty comparable. I mean, they both weighed in around the same. You can see like their movements are about the same. I don't think. Yeah, this is a pretty even match from what I can tell. You can also tell, like, it's as it gets into the deeper, this is the last third of it, the last 5 minutes that we've just crested into. Like, there's less explosives, takedowns and stuff like this, because I think they're both tired. So it's almost like a bit of a mental thing now, right? And I would say, it's nice to hear the crowd cheering them on, but this is largely untested waters for both participants, right?
I mean, it's kind of counterintuitive then. Like, if it's more tiring to stay on your feet, but as they get more tired, they almost like try to avoid getting down to the ground.
It's something like it is one of those things where we saw it firsthand with some of our other competitors as well at that tournament. It's like you're standing there, but you train to be on the ground, and everybody stands up because they're afraid to be taken down and squished, but it's what you train for, right?
Right.
Like
so then it's a cost benefit analysis.
correct.
Like,
yeah. So
stand up or get squished.
But it's interesting because it affords the opportunity for your mind to grow into squirrely places.
Yeah.
Like I don't think either of these guys are have any like stand up background in terms of like wrestling or judo, but yet they're standing quite a bit because maybe they don't want to go to the ground, or maybe like as you found out through the course of the match, you get to understand each other's jiu-jitsu a little bit more. So maybe it's like, I don't want to go to the ground with this guy because it was dangerous.
Wait. Oh. All right. Let's stop the time.
Let's stop the timer. Yeah, so that's good sportsmanship. Sometimes fingers go wandering, right?
Yep. Happens all the time.
Yeah, so the last 3 minutes, they're both doing really, really well.
Yeah. Ooh.
So I think
shoot.
also this time, also for the judging, like you have to score the entire match, right? That's one of the things that's nice about grappling exchanges versus UFC. Like you can win the round, and if you win 2 out of 3 rounds, you can kind of ride it out. Whereas this,
Right.
like up until the timer goes in the last couple minutes, you should still be paying attention, and the judges are still kind of looking.
Right. This is why they normally do like the judges' decisions every 5 minutes, right? Just to kinda keep
like
them in check.
But
We dropped the ball on that one.
I kind of don't want them to do that because you don't, you should be. I don't know. That's a personal opinion.
Right. I guess on a friendly match, I mean, it does affect the psyche in terms of like how you're doing
absolutely. But I think they can. I think they can just keep going, and again, because ideally you want to finish, right? So you shouldn't really care
it. Right.
if you're winning or losing because you're looking to finish. And both these guys are going after it, so it's good. Lots of action, even in the last 2 minutes. Right?
Yeah.
It's also in longer matches like this, your inner monologue comes into play. I've had it where like I train with or I have a match and I'm like, man, I'm not going to be able to submit this guy. Like, what should I do? And these like simple questions can catch you off guard if you're not, your game plan or not prepared for it. But it looks like these guys are both working. They're both trying to. So I'll be interested to see what the judges. Good takedown.
Is he going to go for a finish with a minute left?
Well, it's not even is he going to. Is he afforded the opportunity to? Because at our club we do a lot of defensive training, so it'll be really, really good. But again, it's the last minute.
All right, they're resetting.
Are they resetting?
Yeah, they're resetting.
Okay. Let's see. Also, at this point, they're both probably really tired, both really sweaty, so it's hard to control what's going on at all, if anything. Looks like Josh has an overhook on the right. I don't know if he's maybe trying to go for like a side scissor or I can't see with the.
Oh,
It's almost like a shoulder crunch, but he doesn't quite have the other arm. But again, he takes a look at the clock. 20 seconds left. And you know, these last moments, if he can hit like a big sweep or something, that might change the way the
judge's
judges.
decision.
So
Yeah,
he has an over under here.
Oh,
Oh,
oh.
and Brett's doing a rigid body. So again, it's a good opportunity for Brett as well, right? Because if he can stop it.
Oh, that's a great way to finish for Josh.
Wow. Really so we'll stand by for a quick. The judges will come for a powwow here, and we'll figure it out along with the referee. So the judges now will just confer with the referee about who the decision goes to. It's pretty hard to say. Yeah, he had that big sweep at the end, but Brett stuffed it, so it'll largely see. You can see they're deliberating over there. Yeah, and I mean, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, this was a fun first event. I wonder how our stream health is going. Oh, we have 9 viewers. That's pretty good, right?
9? We almost tripled. We tripled our view count over the last 20 minutes.
Maybe we'll hit those double digits eventually. But both guys look pretty tired there.
Yeah.
Rightly so. Yeah.
I mean, that was a great match. I have no idea how to call that. That is why I'm a white belt.
Well, it's also, you shouldn't be... Yeah. Okay, so it looks like we have a decision. So the ref will line up our participants and do a hand raise at the end whenever they're ready, I guess.
All right. Kenny, when you're ready, if you can stand him up.
You're okay, right? It's good to hear. Okay.
Kenny, you got to call it out so we can hear it.
Yeah, very, very nice. That's pretty cool to see.
Wow.
Let's see if we can grab these guys over in a second and do a post-fight.